this works. It's going to take a little bit of time, I think. And I see us on the TV. Here we are.
Are we there?
We're there.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. Thank you so very much.
I see us on the TV. Here we are.
Are we there? Thank you for joining us tonight. And it's a pleasure to be able to find some way to get together during this very strange and difficult time. And it's a pleasure. My name is George Mount. I'm artistic director of Seattle Shakespeare Company. I hope all of you watching are well and healthy, and that those around you are as well. And for those of you who have experienced loss, our sincerest condolences. We're all in this together, and this is our way of keeping us together. We're calling this Ruff Reads, and it's our experiment in trying to have that continued connection of live theater and Shakespeare with our artists and our audiences. And we call it Ruff Reads for a reason, primarily because it's rough. And we're making it up as we go along. We'll have limited IT support, and we'll do our best to keep up on any technical problems that happen on our end or on your end. And we'll ask for a lot of grace. Also, we call it Ruff Reads because it's kind of inspired by what happens on the first day of rehearsal for a play, where the actors get together, script in hand, and read through the play, sometimes for the first time, sometimes having been able to prepare a little bit, sometimes not so much. Fortunately, the actors in the show have actually rehearsed this play and even performed it, but they've not done it exactly like this. And we're going to do our best to keep up on things. But again, grace is the operative word. What you're going to watch and listen to today is a 6-person, 90-minute adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. It was conceived to be part of our education and community outreach. These 6 actors were, and this show was intended to travel around the state of Washington to high schools and community centers, performing oftentimes to communities who don't have access to live theater, and sometimes communities that have never even seen live performance, let alone live Shakespeare performance. This is our almost spreading the word, getting the mission of Seattle Shakespeare Company and classical theater out there beyond the confines of the Seattle part of Seattle Shakespeare Company. Ordinarily, these actors would be performing to as many as 18,000 students across the state of Washington, doing not only this show, Romeo and Juliet, but also a companion piece, Hamlet, this year, a bilingual Dia de los Muertos inspired production of Hamlet. There is a way for you to experience that. We'll get to that a little later. But tonight you're going to get our Romeo and Juliet. We're going to do our best to identify each actor in their name area as to which character they're playing. But they play a lot of characters, and sometimes they'll walk out of one scene and come in the same scene as a different character. They're good actors. They'll switch their voices. They might even put on a scarf or two. But do your best to sort of follow along, and we'll do our best to keep up with what's happening as far as identifying characters. Who's doing that? Well, that happens to be my partners in hosting this webinar, Michelle Burse, who is the education director at Seattle Shakespeare Company, and Jocelyn Fowler, our interim production manager. Are they there? Can you see them? See them saying hi? And they're going to be the ones, hopefully, switching all the cameras on and off and making sure we keep up with everything. I thank them very much for the great work that they're doing tonight and all year long for Seattle Shakespeare Company. Also, folks, I want to acknowledge behind this particular show that helped put it together before it had to go on quarantine hiatus. The director of the stage production was Anuhea Brown, along with Sophie Franco. And the rehearsal stage manager was Elizabeth Stasio. And the whole production and operations of the touring program was operated and managed by Casey Brown. And we thank them very much for that as well. I'd like to introduce the cast for the show. And that includes Anuhea Brown as Juliet and Samson, Marquicia Dominguez as the Prince, Mercutio, Nurse, and Balthazar, Jerik Fernandez as Romeo and Gregory, Elizabeth Keck as Benvolio and Paris, Adrian Padilla as Tybalt, Friar Lawrence, and Peter, and Beth Pollack as Capulet, Abraham, and Apothecary. I was reading, so I hope you all waved when I said that. The runtime for what we're going to do tonight is about an hour and a half. We will take a brief 5-minute break, and I'll jump in and say when that's happening, give you a chance to stretch your legs and refresh your cocktails. And then we'll get right back into it. And afterwards, we'll have a brief Q&A for anyone that has some questions or comments. I'm going to be keeping an eye on our Facebook chat feed for any questions, comments that come through. We'll do our best to stay on top of things. I will collect questions or comments, and afterwards I will moderate a Q&A with the cast. Seattle Shakespeare Company, unfortunately, right now does not have any shows going on. That's why we're here tonight. And we're going to be planning a lot of stuff coming up to make sure that we can keep engaged with you, our audiences, our friends, our fans. The big one that's coming up next week, next Sunday, is our Bills Bash annual fundraiser to help keep the lights on and the spirit alive. Go to our webpage, seattleshakespeare.org or billsbash.org, and find out about that. Starting on Monday, it's Bills Bash week, leading up to the big event live Sunday night. Please check it out, and please, if you can, support our efforts and to keep the spirit of Shakespeare alive and going once we're all able to get out of our houses and be back together again. We know that this tonight is no substitute for live theater. The heart and soul of what we all do and what we believe in at Seattle Shakespeare Company is the communal experience of getting together, sharing stories, and being able to tell that story and being able to have an audience and a group of people that we know and love hear that story. We're doing our best to find ways to make that still happen. And this is our first attempt at it. And I'm so glad to have you all here tonight out there in YouTube land to enjoy our 90-minute, 6-person touring production of Romeo and Juliet. Take it away.
Two households,
both alike in dignity.
In fair Verona, where we lay our scene.
From ancient grudge break to new mutiny.
Where civil blood makes civil hands unclean.
From forth the fatal loins of these two foes.
A pair of star-crossed lovers take their life.
Whose misadventured piteous overthrows
Doth with their death
bury their parents' strife.
The fearful passage of their death-marked love.
And the continuance of their parents' rage.
which but their children's ends naught could remove,
is now the 2 hours traffic of our stage.
Is now the 90 minutes traffic of our stage.
The which if you with patient ears attend,
What here shall miss.
our toil shall strive to mend.
A dog of the house of Montague moves me.
The quarrel is between our masters and us, their men.
'Tis all one.
Draw thy tool. Here comes 2 of the house of the Montagues.
Quarrel, I will back thee.
I will frown as I pass by and let them take it as they list.
Nay, as they dare, I will bite my thumb at them, which is a disgrace to them if they bear it.
do you bite your thumb at me, sir?
I do bite my thumb, sir.
Do you bite your thumb at me, sir?
No, sir. I do not bite my thumb at you, sir, but I bite my thumb, sir.
Do you quarrel, sir?
Quarrel, sir. No, sir.
If you do, sir, I am for you. I serve as good a man as you.
You lie.
Draw if you be men. Gregory, remember thy swashing blow.
They fight.
Part, fools! You know not what you do!
What? Art thou drawn amongst these heartless hinds? Turn thee, Benvolio, look upon thy death.
I do but keep the peace. Put up thy sword, or manage it to part these men with me.
What? Drawn and talk of peace? I hate the word, as I hate hell, all Montagues and thee. Have at thee, coward!
They fight.
Rebellious subjects, enemies to peace, profaners of this neighbor-stained steel, on pain of torture from those bloody hands, throw your mistempered weapons to the ground, and hear the sentence of your moved prince. 3 civil brawls, bred of an airy word, by thee, O Capulet, and Montague, have thrice disturbed the quiet of our streets. If ever you disturb our streets again, your lives shall pay the forfeit of the peace. For this time, all the rest depart away. Once more, on pain of death, all men depart.
Good morrow, cousin.
Is the day so young?
But new struck 9.
Me, sad hours seem long.
What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
Not having that which having makes them short.
In love?
Out.
Of love?
Out of her favor where I am in love.
Alas, that love, so gentle in his view, should be so rough and tyrannous in proof.
Alas, that love, whose view is muffled still, should without eye see pathways to his will. Where shall we dine? Oh, me, what fray was here? Yet tell me not, for I have heard it all. Here's much to do with hate, but more with love. Why then, oh brawling love, oh loving hate, oh anything of nothing first to create, still waking sleep, that is not what it is. This love feel I, that feel no love in this. Dost thou not laugh?
No, cuz I rather weep.
Good heart at what?
At thy good heart's oppression.
Why, such is love's transgression. Griefs of mine own lie heavy in my breast, which thou wilt propagate to have it pressed with more of thine. This love that thou hast shown doth add more grief to too much of mine own. Farewell, my cuz.
Soft, I will go along, and if you leave me so, you do me wrong.
I have lost myself. I am not here. This is not Romeo. He is some other where.
Tell me, in sadness, who is it that you love?
Oh, what shall I groan and tell thee?
Groan, why no, but sadly tell me who.
In sadness, cousin, I do love a woman.
I aimed so near when I supposed you loved.
Oh, right, good marksman. Oh, and she's fair, I love.
All right, fair mark, fair cuz, is soonest hit.
Well, in that hit you miss. She'll not be hit with Cupid's arrow. She hath Dian's wit. Oh, she is rich in beauty, only poor, that when she dies, her beauty dies her store.
Then she hath sworn that she will still live chaste?
She hath, and in that swearing makes huge ways. Ah, she hath forsworn to love, and in that vow do I live dead that live to tell it now.
Be ruled by me. Forget to think of her.
Oh, teach me how I should forget to think.
By giving liberty unto thine eyes. Examine other beauty.
Oh, 'tis the way to call hers exquisite and question more. Farewell, thou canst not teach me to forget.
I'll pay that doctrine or else die in debt.
But Montague is bound, as well as I, in penalty alike. And 'tis not hard, I think, for those so old as we to keep the peace.
Of honorable reckoning are you both, and pity 'tis you've lived at odds so long. But now, my lady, what say you to my suit?
But saying o'er what I have said before, my child is yet a stranger in the world. She hath not seen the change of 14 years. Let 2 more summers wither in their pride, ere we may think her ripe to be a bride.
Younger than she, our happy mother's maid.
And too soon marred are those so early made. The earth hath swallowed all my hopes but she. She is the hopeful lady of my earth. But woo her, gentle Paris, get her heart. My will to her consent is but a part. And she agree, within her scope of choice lies my consent, and fair according voice. This night I hold an old accustomed feast, whereto I have invited many a guest, such as I love. And you, among the store, one more most welcome makes my number more. Come. Go, Sirrah. Trudge about through fair Verona, find those persons out whose names are written there, and to them say, my house and welcome on their pleasure stay.
Find them out whose names are written here? It is written that the shoemaker should meddle with his yard, the tailor with his last, the fisher with his pencil, and the painter with his nets. But I am sent to find those persons whose names are here writ, and can never find the names the writing person here hath writ. Oh, I must to the learned.
Tut, man!
In good time.
One fire burns out, another's burning. Take thou some new infection to thine eye, and the rank poison of the old will die.
Your plant and leaf is excellent for that.
For what, I pray thee?
For your broken shin.
Thou, why, Romeo, art thou mad?
Not mad, but bound more than a madman is. Shut up in prison, kept without my food, whipped and tormented, and oh, good fellow.
God Gooden, I pray, sir, can you read?
I, mine own fortune and my misery.
Oh, perhaps you have learned it without book. But I pray, sir, can you read anything you see?
If I know the letters and the language.
Oh, ye say honestly. Rest ye merry.
Stay, fellow, I can read. Oh. Signor Martino and his wife and daughters, County Anselm and his beauteous sisters, Mercutio and his brother Valentine, mine uncle Capulet, his wife and daughters, my fair niece Rosaline and Livia, Signor Valencio and his cousin Tybalt, Lucio and the lively Helena, a fair assembly. Whither should they come?
Up.
Whither?
To supper, to our house.
Whose house?
My mistress.
Indeed, I should have asked you that before.
Well, now I'll tell you without asking. My mistress is the great rich Capulet. Now, if you be not to the house of Montagues, I pray, come and crush a cup of wine. Rest ye merry.
This same ancient feast of Capulets sups the fair Rosaline, whom thou so lovest, with all the admired beauties of Verona. Go thither, and with unattainted eye compare her face with some that I shall show, and I shall make thee think thy swan a crow.
One fairer than my love. The all-seeing sun ne'er saw her match since first the world begun. I'll go along, no such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of mine own.
Nurse, where is my daughter? Call her forth to me.
Now by my maiden head, at 12 years old I bade her come. What lamb? What ladybird? God forbid, where is this girl? What, Juliet?
How now? Who calls?
Your mother.
Madam, I'm here. What is your will?
This is the matter. Nurse, give leave a while. We must talk in secret. Nurse, come back again. I have remembered me. Thou's hear our counsel. Thou knowest my daughter is of a pretty age.
Faith, I can tell her age unto an hour.
She's not 14.
I'll lay 14 of my teeth, and yet to my teeth be it spoke, I have but 4. She's not 14. How long is it now till Lammastide?
A fortnight and odd days.
Ah, even or odd. Of all the days in the year, come Lammas Eve at night shall she be 14. 'Tis since the earthquake now 11 years, and she was weaned. Oh, I never shall forget. For then she could stand alone, nay, by the rood. She could have run and waddled all about. For even the day before she broke her brow. Oh, and then my husband, God be with his soul, oh, was a merry man, took up the child. Yea, quoth he, dost thou fall upon thy face? Thou wilt fall backwards when thou hast more wit, wilt thou not, Jewel? And by my holiday, the pretty wretch left crying and said, I.
Enough of this. I pray thee, hold thy peace.
Yes, my lady. Yet I cannot choose but laugh to think it should leave crying and say, I. Yea, quoth my husband, fallest upon thy face, thou wilt fall backwards when thou comest to age, wilt thou not, Jewel? It stinted and said I.
Stint thou too. I pray thee, nurse, say I.
Peace I have done. Oh, God mark thee to his grace. Thou was the prettiest babe that e'er I nursed, and I may live to see thee married once. I have my wish.
Mary. That Mary is the very theme I came to talk of. Tell me, daughter Juliet, how stands your disposition to be married?
It is an honor I dream not of.
An honor. Were not I thine only nurse, I would say thou had sucked wisdom from thy teat.
Well, think of marriage now. Younger than you here in Verona, ladies of esteem are made already mothers. By my count, I was your mother, much upon these years that you are still a maid. Thus then, in brief, the valiant Paris seeks you for his love.
Oh, a man, young lady, such a man as all the world? Why, he's a man of wax.
Verona's summer hath not such a flower.
Nay, he's a flower, in faith, a very flower.
What say you? Can you love the gentleman? This night you shall behold him at our feast. Read o'er the volume of young Paris's face and find delight writ there with beauty's pen. Examine every married lineament and see how one another lends content. So shall you share in all he doth possess by having him, making yourself no less.
No less, nay, bigger. Women grow by men.
To speak briefly, can you like of Paris's love?
I'll look to like, if looking liking move. But no more deep will I dart mine eye than your consent gives strength to make it fly.
My lady, the guests are come, supper served up. You called, my young lady asked for, the nurse cursed in the pantry, and everything in extremity. Wait, I beseech you, follow straight.
We follow thee. Juliet, the county stays.
Go, girl, seek happy nights to happy days.
Romeo!
Romeo!
Where the devil should this Romeo be?
Oh, what?
Hey.
Shall this speech be spoke for our excuse, or shall we on without apology?
Oh, let them measure us by what they will. We'll measure them a measure and be gone.
Give me a torch. I'm not for this ambling. Being but heavy, I will bear the light.
Nay, gentle Romeo, we must have you dance.
Not I, believe me. You have dancing shoes with nimble soles. I have a soul of lead, so stakes me to the ground I cannot move.
You are a lover. Borrow Cupid's wings and soar with them above a common bound.
I am too sore and pierced with his shaft to soar with his light feathers. And so bound, I cannot bound a pitch above dull woe. Under love's heavy burden do I sink.
Oh, and to sink in it should you burden love. Too great oppression for a tender thing.
Is love a tender thing? It is too rough, too rude, too boisterous, and it pricks like thorn.
Oh, if love be rough with you, be rough with love. Prick love for pricking, and you beat love down. Give me a case to put my visage in. A visor for a vicer. What care I, what curious eye doth quote deformities? Here are the beetle brows shall blush for me.
Come, knock and enter, and no sooner end, but every man betake him to his lay.
Torch for me, I'll be a candle holder, and look on. The game was ne'er so fair, and I am done.
Come, we burn daylight, ho!
Nay, that's not so.
I mean, sir, in delay, we waste our lights in vain like lamps by day. Take our good meaning, for our judgment sits 5 times in that ere once in our 5 wit.
And we mean well in going to this mask, but 'tis no wit to go.
Why, may one ask?
I dreamt a dream tonight.
And so did I.
Well, what was yours?
That dreamers often lie.
Oh, in bed asleep while they do dream things true.
Oh, then I see Queen Mab hath been with you. She's the fairy's midwife, and she comes in the shape no bigger than an agate stone on the forefinger of an alderman, drawn by a team of little atomies over men's noses as they lie asleep. Her chariot is an empty hazelnut. Her wagon spokes made of long spinner's legs. Her wagoner, a small, gray-coated gnat. And in this state, she gallops night by night through lovers' brains, and then they dream of love. Or courtiers' knees that dream on curtsies straight, or lawyers' fingers who straight dream on fees, or ladies' lips who straight on kisses dreams, which oft the angry Mab with blisters plagues, because their breaths with sweetmeats tainted are. Sometimes she gallops o'er a courtier's nose, and then dreams he of smelling out a suit. Sometimes she driveth over a soldier's neck, and then dreams he of cutting foreign throats, of breeches, ambuscados, Spanish blades, of hell's 5 fathoms deep, and then anon drums in his ears, at which he starts and wakes, and thus being frighted swears a prayer or two, and sleeps again. This is that very Mab that plaits the manes of horses in the night, and bakes the elf locks in foul sluttish hairs, which once untangled much misfortune bodes. This is the hag, when maids lie on their back, that presses them and learns them first to bear, making them women of good carriage. This is she.
Peace, peace, Mercutio, peace. Thou talk'st of nothing.
True, I talk of dreams, which are the children of an idle brain, begot of nothing but vain fantasy, which is as thin of substance as the air, and more inconstant than the wind.
This wind you talk of blows us from ourselves. Supper is done, and we shall come too late.
I fear too early. For my mind misgives some consequence, yet hanging in the stars, shall bitterly begin his fearful date with this night's revels, and expire the term of a despised life closed in my breast by some vile forfeit of untimely death. But he that hath the steerage of my course, direct my sail.
Romeo!
On, lusty gentlemen! What lady is that, which doth enrich the hand of yonder knight? Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright.
You are welcome, gentlemen. Come, musicians, play.
It seems she hangs upon the cheek of night like a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty too rich for use, for earth too dear. The measure is done. I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Oh, forswear it, sight, for I never saw true beauty till this night.
This, by his voice, should be a Montague. Well, I'll fetch me my rapier. What dares the knave come hither, covered in an antic face, to fleer and scorn at our solemnity? Now by the stock and honor of my kin, to strike him dead, I hold it not a sin.
Why, how now, kinsman? Wherefore storm you so?
Good aunt, this is a Montague, our foe, a villain that has hither come in spite to scorn our solemnity this night.
Young Romeo, is it?
'Tis he, that villain Romeo.
Content thee, gentle coz, let him alone. He bears him like a portly gentleman, and, to say truth, Verona brags of him to be a virtuous and well-governed youth. I would not, for the wealth of all the town here in my house, do him disparagement, therefore be patient. Take no note of him. It is my will, the which if thou respect, show a fair presence, and put off these frowns and ill-beseeming semblance for a feast.
It fits when such a villain is a guest. I'll not endure him.
He shall be endured. What, goodman boy, I say he shall. Go to. Am I the master here, or you? Go to. You'll not endure him. God shall mend my soul. You'll make a mutiny among my guests. You'll be the man.
Why, madam? 'Tis a shame.
Go to. You are a saucy boy. Is so indeed? Be quiet, or I'll make you quiet. What? Cheerly, my hearts.
Patience perforce, with willful choler meeting, makes my flesh tremble at their different greeting. I will withdraw, but this intrusion shall, now seeming sweet, convert to bitter gall.
If I profane with my unworthiest hand this holy shrine, the gentle sin is this: my lips, two blushing pilgrims, ready stand to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong your hand too much, which mannerly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints lips and holy palmers too?
Aye, pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
Oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do. They pray, grant thou, lest faith turn to despair.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not, while my prayer's effect I take. Thus from my lips, by yours, my sin is purged. Oh.
Then have my lips a sin that they have took?
Oh, sin from thy lips? Oh, trespass sweetly urged, give me my sin again?
You kiss by the book.
Oh.
Madam, your mother craves a word with you.
Oh, what is her mother?
Mary, bachelor. Her mother is the lady of the house, and a good lady, and a wise and virtuous. I nursed her daughter that you talked withal. I tell you, he that can lay hold of her shall have the chink.
Is she a Capulet? Oh, dear account, my life is my foe's debt.
Away, be gone, the sport is at its best.
Aye, so I fear the more is my unrest.
Come hither, nurse. What is yond gentleman?
I know not.
No! Ask him his name. If he be married, my grave is like to be my wedding bed.
His name is Romeo, and a Montague, the only son of your great enemy.
My only love sprung from my only hate. Too early seen unknown, and known too late. Prodigious birth of love it is to me, that I must love a loathed enemy.
What's this? What's this?
A rhyme I've learned even now, the one I've danced withal.
Juliet.
Anon, anon, come, let's away, the strangers all are gone.
Can I go forward when my heart is here? Turn back, dull earth, and find thy center out.
Romeo! My cousin Romeo!
She's wise, and on my life has stoned him home to bed.
He ran this way and leaped this orchard wall. Call good Mercutio!
Nay, I'll conjure too. Romeo, humors, madman, passion, lover. Appear thou in the likeness of a sigh. Speak but one rhyme, and I am satisfied. Cry but I, me. Pronounce but love and dove. Speak to my gossip Venus one fair word. He heareth not, he stirreth not, he moveth not, and I must conjure him. I conjure thee by Rosaline's bright eyes, by her high forehead and her scarlet lip, by her fine foot, straight leg, and quivering thigh, and the demesnes that there adjacent lies, that in thy likeness thou appear to us.
He hath hidden himself among these trees to be consorted with the humorous night. Blind is his love, and best befits the dark.
If love be blind, love cannot hit the mark. Romeo, good night. I'll to my truckle bed. This field bed is too cold for me to sleep. Come, shall we go?
Go then. For 'tis in vain to seek him here that means not to be found.
Oh,
He jests at scars that never felt a wound. But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. Oh, it is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. I'm too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. Two of the fairest stars in all the heaven, having some business, do entreat her eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. See how she leans her cheek upon that hand? Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek.
Ay me!
She speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel.
Oh, Romeo. Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. Or if that will not, be but sworn, my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet.
Shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this?
'Tis but thy name that is thy enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is nor hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. Oh, be some other name. What's in a name? That which we call a rose, by any other name would smell as sweet. So Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part in thee, take all myself.
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth I'll never be Romeo.
What man art thou thus be screened in the night, so stumblest upon my counsel?
By a name I not know how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself, because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word.
My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of that tongue's uttering, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
Neither, fair saint, if either thee dislike.
How camest thou hither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and that place death, considering who thou art, if any of my kinsmen find thee here.
With love's light wings did I o'erperch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out, and what love can do that dares love attempt, Therefore thy kinsmen are no stop to me.
If they do see thee, they will murder thee.
Alack, their lives more peril in thine eye than 20 of their swords. And what love can do, that dares love attempt, therefore thy look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity.
I would not for the world they saw thee here.
I have night's cloak to hide me from their eyes. And but thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death prorogued, wanting of thy love.
By whose direction foundst out this place?
By love, who first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel, and I lent him eyes. I am no pilot, yet wert thou as far as that vast shore washed upon the farthest sea, I would adventure for such merchandise.
Thou know'st the mask of night is on my face, else would have made him blush, but paint my cheek, for which thou hast heard me speak tonight. Fain would I dwell on form, fain deny what I have spoke, but farewell compliment. Dost thou love me? I know that wilt say aye, and I will take thy word, yet if thou swearst, this prove false. At lovers' perjuries they say Jove laughs. Oh, gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully. Or, if thou thinkst I am too quickly won, I'll frown and be perverse and say thee nay, so that will woo, but else not for the world. In truth, for Montague, I am too fond. Therefore thou mayst think my behavior light, but trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those more cunning to be strange. Should have been more strange, I must confess. But that thou overheardst ere I was ware. My true love's passions, therefore pardon me, and not impute this yielding to light love, which the dark night hath so discovered.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon I swear that tips with silver all these fruit tree tops.
Not by the moon, the inconstant moon, that monthly changes in her circled orb, lest thy love prove likewise variable.
What shall I swear by?
Well, do not swear. Or, if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the God of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee.
If my heart's dear love is set.
Although I take joy in thee, I have no joy in this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too like the lightning which doth cease to be. Ere one can say it lightens. Sweet, good night. This bud of love by summer's ripening breath shall prove a beauteous flower till next we meet.
Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied?
What satisfaction canst thou have tonight?
The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine.
I gave thee mine before thou didst request, and yet I were to give again.
Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love?
But to be frank, and give it thee again, and yet I wish but for the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep the more I give to thee. The more I have, for both are infinite.
Juliet!
I hear some noise within. Anon, good nurse! Sweet Montague, be true. Stay but a little, I will come again.
Blessed, blessed night, I am afeard. Being in night, all this is but a dream. Too flattering sweet to be substantial.
3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If thy bent of love be honorable, and thy purpose marriage, send me word by one that I'll be cured to come to thee. When and where thou shalt perform the rite, and all my fortunes at thy feet I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world.
Madam!
I come, anon. But if thou meanst not well, I do beseech thee.
Madam!
I come. Seize thy suit, and leave me to my grief. Tomorrow will I send.
So thrive my soul.
1,000 times good night.
1,000 times the worse to want thy light. Love goes towards love, as schoolboys from their books. But love from love, towards school with heavy looks.
Hiss! Romeo, hiss!
My sweet?
At 1 o'clock tomorrow shall I send to thee?
At the hour of 9.
I will not fail. 'Tis 20 years till then.
Oh.
I have forgot why I did call thee back.
Let me stand here till thou remember it.
I shall forget to have thee still stand here. remembering how I love thy company.
And I'll still stay to have thee still forget, forgetting any other home but this.
Good night. Good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow that I must say good night till it be morrow.
Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep in peace, so sweet to rest. Hence will I go to my ghostly father's cell, his help to crave, my dear hap to tell.
The gray-eyed morn sits smiling on the frowning night, checkering the eastern clouds with streaks of light. Now, ere the sun advance his burning eye, well, the day to cheer and night's dank dew to dry. Well, I must fill up this osier cage of ours with baleful weeds and precious juiced flowers. Oh, mickle is the powerful grace that lies in herbs, plants, stones, and their true qualities. For not so vile that on the earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give.
Good morrow, father.
Benedicite, what early tongue so sweet saluteth me? Young son, it argues a distempered head so soon to bid good morrow to thy bed. Or if it not so, then here I hit it right. All Romeo hath not been in bed tonight.
That last is true, the sweeter rest is mine.
God pardon sin. Was that with Rosaline?
With Rosaline, my ghostly father? No, I have forgotten that name and that name's woe.
Well, that's my good son, but where hast thou been then?
I'll tell thee, ere thou asketh me again. I have been feasting with mine enemy, where on a sudden one hath wounded me that's by me wounded. Both are remedies within thy help, and holy physic lies. I bear no hatred, blessed man, for lo, my intercession likewise steads my foe.
Be plain, good son, and homely in thy drift. Riddling confession finds but riddling shrift.
Then plainly know my heart's dear love is set on the fair daughter of rich Capulet. As mine on her, so hers is set on mine, and all combines, save what thou must combine by holy marriage. When and where and how we met, we wooed and made exchange of vow. I'll tell thee as we pass, but this I pray, that thou consent to marry us today?
The holy Saint Francis, what a change is here! Is Rosaline, whom thou did love so dear, so soon forsaken? Oh, young men's love then lies, not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Oh, Jesu Maria, what a deal of brine hath washed thy sallow cheeks for Rosaline? And art thou changed? Pronounce this sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men.
Thou chidest me off for loving Rosaline.
For doting, not for loving, pupil mine.
And bad'st me bury love.
Not in a grave to lay one in, another out to have.
I pray thee chide not. She whom I love now doth grace for grace, love for love allow. The other did not so.
Oh, she knew well that thy love did read by rote and could not spell. But come, young waverer, come go with me. In one respect I'll thy assistant be. For this alliance may so happy prove, to turn your household's rancor to pure love.
Oh, let us hence. I stand on sudden haste.
Wisely and slow, they stumble that run fast.
The clock struck 9 when I did send thee, nurse. In half an hour she promised to return. Perchance she cannot meet him. Oh, that's not so. Oh, she is lame. Love's heralds should be thoughts, which 10 times faster glide than the sun's beams. Now is the sun upon the highmost hill of this day's journey, and from 9 to 12 is 3 long hours, yet she is not come. Had she affections and warm youthful blood, she would be as swift in motion as a ball. But old folks, many fade as they were dead, unwieldy, slow, heavy, and pale as lead.
Oh.
God, she comes. Oh, honey, what news? What hast thou there? Now, good, sweet nurse. Oh, Lord, why look so sad? Though news be sad, yet play them merrily.
Oh,
Good, thou shamest the music of sweet news by playing it to me with so sour a face.
I am aweary. Give me leave a while. Fie, how my bones ache. Oh, what a jaunt have I had.
I would thou hast my bones, and I thy news. Nay, come, I pray thee, speak. Good, good nurse, speak.
Jesus, what haste? Can you not stay a while? Do you not see that I am out of breath? Oh.
How art thou out of breath, when thou hast breath to say to me that thou art out of breath? Is thy news good or bad? Say either, and I'll stay the circumstance. Let me be satisfied. Is good or bad?
Well, you have made a simple choice. You know not how to choose a man. Romeo, no, not he. Though his face be better than any man's, yet his leg excels all men. And for a hand and a foot and a body, though they be not talked on, yet they are past compare. He is not the flower of courtesy, but I'll warrant him as gentle as a lamb. Oh, go thy ways, wench. Serve God. What, have you dined at home?
No, but all of this I know before. What says he of our marriage? What of that?
Lord, how my head aches. Oh, what a head have I. It beats as it would fall in 20 pieces. Oh, my back go the other side. Oh, my back, my back. Oh. Beshrew your heart for sending me about to catch my death with jaunting up and down. Oh.
In faith, I am sorry thou art not well. Sweet, sweet, sweet nurse, tell me, what says my love?
Your love says, like an honest gentleman, and a courteous, and a kind, and a handsome, and I warrant a virtuous. Where's your mother?
Where is my mother? Why she is within. Where should she be? How oddly thou repliest. Your love, like an honest gentleman. Where is your mother?
Oh, God's lady dear, are you so hot? Mary, come up, I trow. Is this the poultice for my aching bones? Henceforward do your messages yourself.
Here's such a coil. Come. What says Romeo?
Have you got leave to go to shrift today?
I have.
Then hie you hence to Friar Lawrence's cell. There stays a husband to make you a wife. Now comes a wanton blood up in your cheeks. There'll be it scarlet straight in any news. Hie you to church, I must another way, to fetch a ladder by which your love must climb a bird's nest soon when it is dark. I am the drudge and toil and your delight, but you shall bear the burden soon at night. Go, all to dinner, hie you to the cell.
Hie to high fortune, honest nurse. Farewell.
So smile the heavens upon this holy act, that after hours with sorrow chide us not.
Amen. Amen. But come, what sorrow can. It cannot countervail the exchange of joy that one short minute gives me in her sight. Do thou but close our hands with holy words. It is enough I may but call her mine.
These violent delights have violent ends, and in their triumph die like fire and powder, which as they kiss, consume. Therefore, love moderately. Long love doth so. Too swift arrives as tardy as too slow. No? I hear thy lady coming. Here comes the lady.
Good even to my ghostly confessor.
Romeo shall thank thee, daughter, for the both of us.
As much to him, Alcis's thanks, too much.
Oh, come with me, and we'll make short work. For by your leaves you shall not stay alone, till Holy Church incorporates two in one.
And at this point, fair listeners, we are going to take a 5-minute intermission break. We really appreciate you being here and enjoying this performance and the story and these artists. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Thank you. Who's in the room? Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you so much for being here and supporting Seattle Shakespeare Company. Again, you can go to our webpage, seattleshakespeare.org, to donate to help keep our mission of providing Shakespeare and classic theater across Seattle, the Puget Sound, and the state of Washington alive in these very difficult times. I also want to say we're monitoring our YouTube chat feed for any questions or that you might have for the cast or the production team after the show. We will spend a few minutes engaging in feedback. Just going to make sure that all of the performers are coming back from our break before we get started. And again, please send questions. And if you're not a YouTube subscriber, you may send an email to George M at seattleshakespeare.org, and I will monitor those and get back to them. Just making sure before we get restarted that all of our performers are back. I don't have the thumbs up yet. Again, we call it the Ruff Reads. So thank you for your patience and your grace. It'll just be another moment or two before we get started with the second part of Romeo and Juliet. Again, this is part of Seattle Shakespeare Company's education and outreach. This show is designed to travel around the state of Washington, literally in a Ford Econoline van with all 6 actors, all the costumes, all the sets, sound, props, everything in a van that travels around the state of Washington, bringing live Shakespeare performance to students and communities who might not necessarily get the chance to see live Shakespeare. We're really, really supportive and proud and honor the great work that educators do around the state of Washington in teaching Shakespeare and Romeo and Juliet. And it's such an important thing. And we partner with them to bring that extra element of bringing it out of the book and hopefully out of like the video of Leonardo DiCaprio and or maybe Franco Zeffirelli, and have live actors say these words out loud in front of students and afterwards engage with them in questions and answers. It's what this art form is all about. And we know that right now we're not able to do that in that one-on-one in the room experience. And we're so pleased that you are here with us tonight to kind of fill in that gap until we can all get back together and share stories together. But for the rest of the night, we're going to share the rest of Romeo and Juliet. Please enjoy. Thank you.
Where the devil should this Romeo be? Came he not home tonight?
Not to his father's. I spoke with his man.
Ah, that same pale, hard-hearted wench, that Rosaline, torments him so that he will sure run mad.
Oh, Tybalt, the kinsman of old Capulet, hath sent a letter to his father's house.
A challenge on my life.
Romeo will answer it.
Any man that can write may answer a letter.
Nay, he will answer the letter's master. How he dares being dared.
Alas, poor Romeo, he's already dead, stabbed with a white wench's black eye, shot through the ear with a love song, the very pin of his heart cleft with the blind bowboy's butt shaft. Is he a man to encounter Tybalt?
Why, what's Tybalt?
Oh, more than Prince of Cats, I can tell you. Oh, he is the courageous captain of compliments. He fights as you sing prick songs, keeps time, distance, and proportion. Rest me his minim rest, 1, 2, and the third in your bosom.
I pray thee, good Mercutio, let's retire. The day is hot, the capels are abroad, and if we meet, we shall not scape a brawl. For now these hot days is the mad blood stirring.
Come, come, thou art as hot a jack in thy mood as any in Italy.
Oh, by my head, here come the Capulets.
Oh, by my heel, I care not.
Gentlemen, good in. A word with one of you.
And but one word with one of us. Couple it with something. Make it a word and a blow.
Well, you shall find me apt enough for that, sir. And you will give me an occasion.
Could you not take some occasion without giving?
Mercutio,
Huh?
thou consortest with Romeo.
Consort? What dost thou make us minstrels? And thou make minstrels of us, look to hear nothing but discord. Oh, here's my fiddlestick. Here's that'll make you dance. Zoons, consort.
We talk here in the public haunt of men. Either withdraw unto some private place and reason coldly of your grievances, or else depart. Here all eyes gaze on us.
Men's eyes were made to look, and let them gaze. I will not budge for no man's pleasure, I.
Well, peace be with you, sir. Here comes my man.
Well, I'll be hanged, sir, if you wear your livery.
Romeo! The love I bear thee can afford no better terms than this. Thou art a villain.
Tybalt, the reason that I have to love thee doth much excuse the appertaining rage of such a greeting. Villain am I none, therefore farewell, I see thou knowst me not.
Boy, this shall not excuse the injuries thou hast done me. Therefore turn and draw.
I do protest, I never injured thee, but love thee better than thou canst devise, till thou shalt know the reason of my love. And so, good Capulet, which name I tender as dearly as mine own, be satisfied.
Oh, calm, dishonorable, vile submission. Alisticata carries it away. Tybalt, you rat catcher, will you walk?
What wouldst thou have with me?
Good king of cats, nothing but one of your 9 lives, that I mean to make bold withal and dry beat the rest of the 8.
I am for you.
Gentle Mercutio, put thy rapier up.
Come, sir, your passado.
They fight.
Draw, Benvolio, beat down their weapons. Gentlemen, for shame, forbear this outrage. Tybalt, Mercutio, the prince expressly hath forbidden banding in Verona streets. Hold, Tybalt, good
Tybalt
Mercutio.
stabs Mercutio under Romeo's arms. Tybalt with sword and Samson with dagger exit.
I am hurt. A plague of both your houses. I am sped. Is he gone and hath nothing?
What, art thou hurt?
Aye, a scratch. Mary, 'tis enough. Go, Benvolio, fetch a surgeon.
Courage, man, the hurt cannot be much.
No, 'tis not so deep as a well, nor so wide as a church door, but 'tis enough, 'twill serve. Ask for me tomorrow, and you shall find me a grave man. I am peppered, I warrant, for this world. A plague of both your houses. Zoons, a dog, a rat, a mouse, a cat, to scratch a man to death. A braggart, a rogue, a villain that fights by the book of arithmetic. Why the devil came you between us? I was hurt under your arm.
Thought all for the best.
Help me into some house, Benvolio, or I shall faint. A plague of both your houses. They have made worms meat of me. I have it, and soundly too. Your houses!
This gentleman, the prince's near ally, my fairy friend, hath got his mortal hurt on my behalf. My reputation stained with Tybalt's slander. Oh, Tybalt, that an hour hath been my kinsman. Oh, sweet Juliet, thy beauty hath made me effeminate, and in my temper softened valor's steel.
Oh, Romeo! Romeo, brave Mercutio's dead.
The day's black fate on more days doth depend. This but begins the woe, others must end. Tybalt! Oh, now take thee, villain, back again.
Thou wretched boy that did consort him here shall with him hence.
This shall determine that.
They fight. Tybalt falls.
Oh.
Romeo, away, be gone! The citizens are up and Tybalt slain. Stand not amazed! The prince will doom thee death if thou art taken. Hence, be gone away!
Oh, I am a fortune's fool.
Why dost thou stay?
Tybalt? My cousin. Oh, my brother's child. Oh, prince. Oh, cousin. Oh, the blood is spilled. Oh, my dear kinsman. Prince, as thou art true, for blood of ours shed blood of Montague.
Benvolio, who began this bloody fray?
Tybalt! Here slain, whom Romeo's hand did slay.
No, I beg for justice, which thou, prince, must give. Romeo slew Tybalt. Romeo must not live.
Romeo slew him. He slew Mercutio, who now the price of his dear blood doth owe.
Not Romeo, prince. He was Mercutio's friend. His fault concludes but what the law should end, the life of Tybalt.
And for that offense, immediately we do exile him hence. Let Romeo hence in haste, else when he's found, that hour is his last.
Gallop apace, you fiery-footed steeds, towards Phoebus' lodging. Such a Wagner as Phaeton would whip you to the west, and bring cloudy night immediately. Spread thy close curtain love performing night, that runaway eyes may wink, and Romeo leap to these arms untalked of and unseen. Come, gentle night, come, loving, black-browed night. Give me my Romeo, and when he should die, take him, and cut him into little stars, and he will make the face of heaven so fine that all the world shall be in love with night, and pay no worship to the garish sun. Here comes my nurse, and she brings news. Now, nurse, what news? Why dost thou wring thy hands?
We are undone, lady, we are undone. Alack, the day, he's gone. He's killed, he's dead.
Can heaven be so envious?
Romeo can, though heaven cannot. Oh, Romeo, Romeo, I saw the wound, I saw it with mine eyes.
Oh, break my heart. Poor bankrupts, break at once.
Oh, Tybalt, Tybalt, the best friend I had, that ere I should live to see thee dead.
What storm is this that blows so contrary? Is Romeo slaughtered, and is Tybalt dead? My dear love cousin and my dearer lord? Then dreadful trumpets sound the general doom. For who is living if those two are gone?
Tybalt is gone, and Romeo banished. Romeo that killed him, he is banished.
Oh God. Did Romeo's hand shed Tybalt's blood?
It did, alas the day, it did.
Oh, serpent heart, hid with devouring face, beautiful tyrant, fiend angelical, dove-feathered raven, wolvish ravening lamb? Was ever book containing such vile matter so fairly bound? Oh, that deceit should dwell in such a gorgeous palace.
There is no trust, no faith, no honesty in men. Shame come to Romeo.
Blistered be thy tongue for such a wish. He was not born to shame. Oh, what a beast was I to chide at him.
Will you speak well of him that killed your cousin?
Shall I speak ill of him that is my husband? Ah, poor my lord, what tongue shall smooth thy name, when I, thy 3 hours wife, have mangled it? My husband lives, that Tybalt would have slain, and Tybalt's dead that would have slain my husband. Romeo is banished. To speak that word is father, mother, Romeo, Juliet, all slain, all dead. Romeo is banished. There is no end, no limit measure bound in that word's death. No words can that woe sound. Where is my mother, nurse?
Weeping and wailing over Tybalt's corse. Will you go to them? I will bring you thither.
Wash they his wounds with tears. Mine shall be spent. When theirs are dry for Romeo's banishment. Come, nurse. I to my wedding bed. And death, not Romeo, take my maidenhead.
Hie to your chamber. I'll find Romeo to comfort you. I wot well where he is. Hark ye, your Romeo will be here at night. All to him. He is hid at Lawrence' cell.
Oh, find him, and bid him come take his last farewell.
Romeo, come forth, thy fearful man.
Father, what news? What is the prince's doom? What sorrow craves acquaintance at my hand that yet I know not?
A gentler judgment vanished from his lips. Not body's death, but body's banishment.
Banishment! Be merciful, say death! For exile hath more terror in his look, much more than death. Do not say banishment. There is no world without Verona walls, but purgatory, torture, hell itself.
Oh, deadly sin. Oh, rude unthankfulness. Thy fault our law calls death, but the kind prince, taking thy part, hath rushed aside the law and turned that black word death to banishment. This is dear mercy, and thou seest it not.
'Tis torture and not mercy. Heaven is here, where Juliet lives, and every cat and dog and little mouse, every unworthy thing, live here in heaven and may look on her. But Romeo may not. He is banished. And sayest thou that exile is not death? Oh, friar, the damned use that word in hell.
Thou fond madman, hear me but speak a word.
Oh, thou wilt speak again of banishment.
I'll give thee armor to keep off that word. Adversity, sweet milk. Philosophy, to comfort thee, though thou art banished.
Yet banished? Hang up philosophy. It helps not, prevails not. Talk no more.
Oh, then I see that madmen have no ears.
Oh, how should they when that wise men have no eyes?
Let me dispute with thee of thy estate.
Thou canst not speak of that thou dost not feel. What thou as young as I? Juliet, thy love, an hour but married. Tybalt murdered, doting like me, and like me banished. Then mightst thou speak. Then mightst thou tear thy hair and fall upon the ground as I do now, taking the measure of an unmade grave.
Arise, one knocks. Good Romeo, hide thyself. Run to my study. By and by, God's will, what sinfulness is this? I come. Who knocks so hard? Whence come you? What's your will?
Let me come in, and you shall know my errand. I come from Lady Juliet.
Welcome, then.
Oh, holy friar, oh, tell me, holy friar, where's my lady's lord? Where's Romeo?
There, onto the ground, with his own tears made drunk.
Oh, he is even in my mistress' case, just in her case. Even so lies she blubbering and weeping, weeping and blubbering. Stand up, stand up, stand and you be a man. For Juliet's sake, for her sake, rise and stand. Why should you fall into so deep an oh?
Speakest thou of Juliet? How is it with her? Does she not think me an old murderer, now that I have stained the childhood of our joy with blood removed but little from her own?
Oh, she says nothing, sir, but weeps, and now falls on her bed, and then starts up, and Tybalt calls, and then Romeo cries, and then down falls again.
As if that name, shot from the deadly level of a gun, did murder her. as that name's cursed hand murdered her kinsman. Oh, tell me, friar, tell me, in what vile part of this anatomy doth my name lodge? Tell me that I may sack the hateful mansion.
Drawing his
Hold
dagger.
thy desperate hand. Art thou a man? Thy form cries out thou art. Thy wild acts denote the unreasonable fury of a beast. Thou hast amazed me. By my holy order, I thought thy disposition better tempered. Hast thou slain Tybalt? Wilt thou slay thyself, and stay thy lady too, who lives in thee by doing damned hate upon thyself? What? Rouse thee, man. Thy Juliet is alive, for whose dear sake thou wast but lately dead. There art thou happy. Tybalt would kill thee, but thou slewest Tybalt. There art thou happy too. The law that threatened death turns thy friend, and the word becomes exile. There art thou happy. Pack of blessings lights upon thy back. The happiness courts thee in her best array. But like a misbehaved and sullen youth, thou pout'st against thy fortune and thy love? Oh, take heed. Take heed, for such die miserable. Go, get thee to thy love, as was decreed. Ascend her chamber hence and comfort her. But look that thou stay not till the watch be set, for then thou canst not pass to Mantua, where there thou shalt live till we can find a time to blaze your marriage, reconcile your friends, beg pardon of the prince, and call thee back with 1,000 times more joy than thou went forth in lamentation. Oh, go before nurse, and commend me to thy lady, and bid her hasten all the house to bed. Romeo is coming.
Oh, Lord, I could have stayed here all the night to hear good counsel. Oh, what learning is. My lord, I'll tell my lady you will come.
How well, my comfort is revived by this.
Sojourn in Mantua. I'll find out your man, and he shall signify from time to time every good hap to you that chances here. Give me thy hand, 'tis late. Farewell, and good night.
But that a joy past joy calls out on me. It were a grief too brief to part with thee. Farewell.
Wilt thou be gone? It is not yet near day. It was the nightingale, and not the lark, that pierced the fearful hollow of thine ear. Nightly she sings on yon pomegranate tree. Believe me, love, it was the nightingale.
It was the lark, the herald of the morn, no nightingale. Look, love, what envious streaks do lace the severing clouds in yonder east. Night's candles are burnt out, and jocund day stands tiptoe on the misty mountaintops. I must be gone and live, or stay and die.
Yon light is not daylight. I know it, It is a meteor. The sun exhales to be to thee this night a torchbearer, and light thee on thy way to Mantua. Therefore stay yet. Thou needst not be gone.
Oh, let me be ta'en. Let me be put to death. I am content. So thou wilt have it so. I have more care to stay than will to go. Come, death, and welcome. Juliet wills it so. How is it, my soul? Let's talk. It is not day.
It is. It is. Hie hence, be gone, away. It is the lark that sings so out of tune, straining harsh discords and unpleasing sharps. Some say the lark makes sweet division. This doth not so, for she hath divided us. Oh, now be gone, more light and light it grows.
More light and light, more dark and dark our woes.
Madam,
Nurse?
your lady mother is coming to your chamber. The day is broke. Be weary, look about.
Then window let's day in, and let life out.
Farewell. Farewell. One kiss and I'll descend.
Art thou gone so? Love, lord, I, husband, friend. I must hear from thee every minute and in the hour, for in a minute there are many days. By this count shall I be much in years ere I again behold my Romeo.
I will omit no opportunity that may convey my greetings, love, to thee.
Oh, think'st thou we shall ever meet again?
I doubt it not. And all these woes shall serve as sweet discourses in our time to come.
Oh God, I have an ill-dividing soul. Methinks I see thee now, thou art below as one dead in the bottom of a tomb. Either my eyesight fails or thou look'st pale.
And trust me, love, in my eyes, so do you. Dry sorrow drinks our blood. Adieu, adieu.
O Fortune, Fortune, all men call thee fickle. If thou art fickle, what dost thou with him that is renowned for faith? Be fickle, Fortune, for then I know that will not keep him long, but send him back.
Whoa, daughter, are you up?
Who is that calls? Is it my lady mother? Is she not down so late or up so early? What unaccustomed cause procures her hither?
Why, how now, Juliet?
Madam, I'm not well.
Evermore weeping for your cousin's death? What, wilt thou wash him from his grave with tears? And if thou couldst not make him live, therefore have done. Some grief shows much of love, but much of grief still shows some want of wit.
Yet let me weep for feeling such a loss.
So shall you feel the loss, but not the friend which you weep for.
Feeling so the loss, I cannot choose but ever weep the friend.
Well, girl, thou weeps not so much for his death as that the villain lives which slaughtered him.
What villain, my lady?
That same villain, Romeo.
Villain, and he be many miles asunder. God, pardon him. I do with all my heart, and yet no man like he doth grieve my heart.
That is because the traitor murderer lives.
I, my lady, from the reach of these hands would none but I might venge my cousin's death.
We will have vengeance for it. Fear thou not. And then I hope thou wilt be satisfied. But now I'll tell thee joyful tidings, girl.
And joy comes well in such a needy time. What are they? I beseech your ladyship.
Well, thou hast a careful mother, child, one who, to put thee from thy heaviness, hath sorted out a sudden day of joy.
Madam, in happy time, what day is that?
Mary, my child, early next Thursday morn, the gallant, young, and noble gentleman, the County Paris, shall at St. Peter's Church happily make thee there a joyful bride.
Now by St. Peter's Church and St. Peter too, he shall not make me a joyful bride. I wonder at this haste that I must wed, ere that he should be my husband comes to woo. I will not marry yet, and when I do, it shall be with Romeo, whom you know I hate. Rather than Paris, these are news indeed.
Soft. Take me with you. Take me with you, girl. How? Will she none? Does she not give us thanks? Is she not proud? Does she not count her blessed, unworthy as she is, that I have wrought so worthy a gentleman to be her bridegroom?
Not proud you have, but thankful you have. Proud I can never be of what I hate, but even thankful for that is love.
How now? How now, chop logic? What is this? Proud, and I thank you, and I thank you not, and yet not proud? Mistress Minion, you thank me no thankings, nor proud me no prouds, but fettle your fine joint 'gainst Thursday next to go with Paris to St. Peter's Church, or I will drag thee on a hurdle thither. Out, you green sickness carrion, out, you baggage.
Good mother, I beseech you on my knees. Hear me with patience, but to speak a word.
Hang thee, young baggage, disobedient wretch. I tell thee what, get thee to church on Thursday, or never after look me in the face. Speak not, reply not, do not answer me, my fingers itch.
God in heaven bless her. You are to blame, madam, to rate her so.
And why, my lady Wisdom? Hold your tongue, good Prudence, smatter with your gossips, go.
I speak no treason.
God she could den.
May not one speak?
Peace, you mumbling fool. Go utter your gravity or a gossip's bull, for here we need it not.
You are too hot.
God's bread, it makes me mad. Day, night, hour, tide, time, work, play, alone, in company, still my care hath been to have her matched. And having now provided a gentleman of noble parentage, and then to have a wretched, puling fool to answer, I'll not wed. I am too young, I cannot love, I pray you pardon me. But as you'll not wed, I'll pardon you. Graze where you will, you shall not house with me. Look to it. Think on't, I do not use to jest. Thursday is near. Lay hand on heart, advise. And you be mine, I'll give you to my friend. And you be not, hang, beg, starve, die in the streets, for by my soul I'll ne'er acknowledge thee, nor what is mine shall never do thee good. Trust to it, bethink you, I'll not be forsworn.
Oh, sweet my mother, cast me not away. Delay this marriage for a month, a week, or if that will make the bridal bed in that dim monument where Tybalt lies.
Talk not to me, for I'll not speak a word. Do as thou wilt, for I have done with thee.
Oh God. Oh nurse, how shall this be prevented? My husband on earth, my faith in heaven. How shall that faith return again to earth unless that my husband send it me from heaven by leaving earth? Hast thou not a word of joy? Some comfort, nurse.
Faith, here it is. Romeo is banished, and all the world to nothing, that he dares ne'er come back to challenge you, or if he do, it needs must be by stealth. Then, since the case so stands as now it doth, I think it best you married with the county. Oh, he's a lovely gentleman. Romeo's a dishclout to him. Beshrew my very heart, I think you are happy in the second match, for it excels your first, or if it did not, your first is dead, or 'twere as good he were as living here, and you no use of him.
Speakest thou from thy heart?
And from my soul too, or else beshrew them both.
Amen.
What?
Well, thou hast comforted me marvelous much. Go in and tell my mother I am gone, having displeased her so to Friar Lawrence's cell to make confession and be absolved.
Mary, I will, and this is wisely done.
Ancient damnation. Oh, most wicked fiend! Is it more sin to wish me thus forsworn, than to displease my lord with that same tongue which she hath praised him above compare so many thousand times? Go, counselor, thou and my bosom henceforth shall be twain. I'll tell the friar to know his remedy. If all else fail, myself have the power to die.
On Thursday, sir. The time is very short.
My mother Capulet would have it so, and I am nothing slow to slack her haste.
You say you do not know the lady's mind. Uneven is the course, I like it not.
Immoderately she weeps for Tybalt's death, and therefore have I little talked of love, for Venus smiles not in a house of tears. Now, sir, her mother counts it dangerous that she doth give her sorrows so much sway, and in her wisdom hastes our marriage to stop the inundation of her tears. Now you do know the reason for this haste.
I would I knew not why it should be slowed. Look, sir, here comes the lady toward my cell.
Happily met, my lady and my wife.
That may be, sir, when I may be a wife.
That maybe must be love on Thursday next.
What must be shall be.
That's a certain text.
Come you to make confession to this father?
To answer that, I should confess to you.
Do not deny to him that you love me.
I will confess to you that I love him.
So will ye, I am sure that you love me.
If I do so, it will be more of a price, being spoke behind your back than to your face. Are you at leisure, holy friar, or shall I visit you at evening mass?
My leisure serves me, pensive daughter. Now, my lord, we must entreat the time alone.
God shield I should disturb devotion. Juliet. On Thursday early will I rouse ye. Till then, adieu, and keep this holy kiss.
Shut the door. And when thou hast done so, come, weep with me. Past hope, past cure, past help.
Juliet, I already know thy grief. It strains me past the compass of my wits. I hear thou must, and nothing may prorogue it. On Thursday next be married to this county.
Tell me not, friar, that thou hear'st of this, and let's tell me how I may prevent it. If in thy wisdom thou canst give no help, do thou but call my resolution wise, and with this knife I'll help it presently. Be not for so long to speak. I long to die if what thou speak not of remedy.
Hold, daughter. I do spy a kind of hope which craves as desperate an execution as that is desperate which we would prevent. But if rather than to marry County Paris.
Oh, bid me leap rather than marry Paris from off the battlements of yonder tower, or bid me go into a new-made grave and hide me with a dead man in his shroud.
Hold then. Well, go home. Oh, be merry. Give consent to marry Paris. The Wednesday is tomorrow. Tomorrow night, look that thou lie alone. Let not thy nurse lie with thee in thy chamber. And take thou this vial. Being then in bed, and this distilled liquor drink thou off, when presently through all thy veins shall run a cold and drowsy humor. For no pulse shall keep his native progress, but surcease. And no warmth, no breath shall testify that thou livest. And in this borrowed likeness of a shrunk death, that shall continue 42 hours, and then awake as from a pleasant sleep. Now, when the bridegroom in the morning comes to rouse thee from thy bed, there art thou dead. And thou shalt be born to that same ancient vault where all the kindred of the Capulets lie. Well, in the meantime, against thou shalt awake, shall Romeo by my letters know our drift, and hither shall he come. And he and I will watch thy waking, and that very night shall Romeo bear thee hence to Mantua, and this shall free thee from this present shame, if no inconstant toy nor childlike fear abate thy valor in the acting it.
Give me, tell me not to fear.
Hold, I'll get you gone. Be strong and prosperous in this resolve. I'll go with speed to Mantua with my letters to thy lord.
Love give me strength, and strength shall help afford. Farewell, dear father.
We shall be much unfurnished for this time. What, is my daughter gone to Friar Lawrence?
Aye, forsooth.
Well, he may chance to do some good on her. A peevish, self-willed harlotry it is.
See where she comes from shrift with merry look.
How now, my headstrong? Where have you been gadding?
Where I have learned me to repent the sin of disobedient opposition to you and your behests, and am enjoined by Holy Friar to lay prostrate here and beg your pardon. Pardon, I beseech your ladyship. Henceforward am I ever ruled by you.
Send for the county. Go, tell him of this. I'll have this knot knit up tomorrow morning.
I met the youthful lord at Holy Friar's cell and gave him what becometh love I might, not o'erstepping the bounds of modesty.
Why, I'm glad on't. This is well. Stand up. This is as it should be. Let me see the county. Mary, go, I say, and fetch him hither.
Nurse, will you come with me into my closet to help me fetch such needful ornaments as you think fit to furnish me tomorrow?
Go, nurse. Go with her. We'll to church tomorrow. Tush, I will stir about, and all things shall be well. I will walk myself to County Paris to prepare him up against tomorrow. Oh, my heart is wondrous light now that the same wayward girl is so reclaimed.
Aye, those attires are best. But gentle nurse, I pray thee, leave me to myself tonight, for I am in need of many orisons to move the heavens to smile upon my state, which well thou knowst is cross and full of sin.
What, are you busy? Need you my help?
No, madam. We have culled such necessaries as are behoveful for our state tomorrow. Therefore now, let me now be left alone, and let the nurse this night sit up with you, for I am sure you have your hands full on this so sudden business.
Good night. Get thee to bed and rest, for thou hast need.
Farewell. God knows when we shall meet again. I have a cold, faint fear thrills through my veins, which freezes up the heat of life. I call them back again to comfort me. Nurse! What should she do here? My dismal scene I needs must act alone. Come, Vial. What if this mixture do not work at all? Shall I be married then tomorrow morning? No, no. This shall forbid it. Lie thou there. What if it be a poison which the friar subtly hath ministered to have me dead? Lest in this marriage he should be dishonored, because he married me before to Romeo? I fear it is, and yet methinks it should not, for he had still been tried a holy man. How if, when I am laid into the tomb, I wake before the time Romeo come to redeem me? There's a fearful point. Shall I not then be stifled in the vault, and there die strangled ere my Romeo comes? Or if I live, is it not the very like? The horrible conceit of death and night, together with the terror of this place. As in a vault, an ancient receptacle where for these many hundred years the bones of all my buried ancestors are packed. Where bloody Tybalt, yet but green and earth, lies festering in his shroud. Whereas they say at some hours of the night spirits resort. Alack, alack, is it not that I, so early waking what with loathsome smells and shrieks like mandrakes torn out of the earth, that living mortals hearing them were mad? Oh, if I live, shall I not be distraught, environed with all these hideous fears, and madly play with my forefathers' joints, and pluck the mangled Tybalt from his shroud, and in this rage with some great kinsman's bones, as with a club, dash out my desperate brains? Look, methinks I see my cousin's ghost, seeking out Romeo, that did spit his body upon a rapier's point. Stay! Tybalt, stay. Romeo, I come. This do I drink to thee.
Nurse? Nurse, what nurse, I say? Nurse, go, waken Juliet, go, trim her up, make haste the bridegroom, he is come already, make haste, I say.
Oh, mistress, what mistress? Juliet, fast I warned her, she. Why, love, I say. Madam, sweetheart, why, bride, I must needs wake you. Lady, 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 alas, alas, help, help, my lady's dead.
Oh me, my child, my only life, revive. Look up, or I will die with thee. Alas, the day she's dead. She's dead, she's dead. Death that hath ta'en her hints to make me wail, ties up my tongue, and will not let me speak.
If I may trust the flattering truth of sleep, my dreams presage some joyful news at hand. My bosom's lord sits lightly in his throne, and all this day an unaccustomed spirit lifts me above the ground with cheerful thoughts. I dreamt my lady came and found me dead. Strange dream that gives a dead man leave to think, and breathes such life with kisses in my lips that I revived and was an emperor. Oh, me, how sweet is love itself possessed, when but love's shadows are so rich in joy.
Romeo?
News from Verona.
Romeo!
How now, Benvolio? Dost thou not bring me letters from the friar? Oh, how doth my lady? Is my father well? How fares my Juliet? That I ask again, for nothing can be ill if she be well.
Then she is well, and nothing can be ill. Her body sleeps in Capel's monument, and her immortal part with angels lives. I saw her laid low in her kindred's vault, and presently took post to tell it you.
Is it even so? Then I defy you, stars! Thou know'st my lodging. Get me ink and paper and hire post horses. I will hence tonight.
I do beseech you, cuz, have patience. Your looks are pale and wild and do import some misadventure.
Tush, thou art deceived. Leave me, and do the thing I bid thee do. Hast thou no letters to me from the friar?
No, good Romeo.
No matter. Get thee gone, and hire those horses. I'll be with thee straight. Well, Juliet, I will lie with thee tonight. What ho, apothecary?
Who calls so loud?
Come hither, man. There is 40 ducats. Let me have a dram of poison.
Such mortal drugs I have, but Mantua's law is death to any he that utters them.
I pay thy poverty and not thy will.
Put this in any liquid thing you will and drink it off. And if you had the strength of 20 men, it would dispatch you straight.
There's thy gold. Worst poison to men's souls. Come, cordial, and not poison. Go with me to Juliet's grave, for there I must use thee.
A churchyard, the tomb of the Capulets.
Hold, take this letter. Early in the morning, see thou delivered to my lord and father. Give me the light. Upon thy life, I charge thee, whatever thou hearest or seest, stand all aloof, and do not interrupt me in my course.
I will be gone, cuz, and not bother you.
So shalt thou show me friendship. Take thou that. Live and be prosperous, and farewell, good fellow.
For all this same, I'll hide me hereabout. His looks I fear, and his intents I doubt.
Here lies Juliet, and her beauty makes this vault of feasting presence full of light. Oh, my love, my wife. Death, that hath sucked the honey of thy breath, hath had no power yet upon thy beauty. Dear Juliet, why art thou yet so fair? Shall I believe that unsubstantial death is amorous, and that the lead aboard monster keeps thee here in dark to be his paramour? For fear of that, I will stay with thee, and never from this palace of dim night depart again. Arms, take your last embrace, and lips, oh, you the doors of breath, seal with a righteous kiss, a dateless bargain to engrossing death. Come, bitter conduct. Come, unsavory guide. Here's to my love. Oh, true apothecary. Thy drugs are quick. Thus with a kiss, I die.
Saint Francis be my speed. Oh, fear comes upon me. Oh, much I fear some ill unlucky thing. Romeo! Oh, pale. What an unkind hour is guilty of this lamentable chance. Lady stirs.
Oh, comfortable friar, where's my lord? I know well where I should be, and there I am. Where is my Romeo?
Lead, boy, which way?
I hear some noise. Lady, come from that nest of death, contagion, and unnatural rest. A greater power than we can contradict hath thwarted our intents. Come away, stay not to question, for the watch is coming. Go, good Juliet, I dare no longer stay.
Go, get thee hence, for I will not away. What's this? A cup closed in my true love's hand? Poison I see have been his timeless end. Oh, churl, drunk all and left no friendly drop to help me after. I will kiss thy lips. Happily some poison yet doth hang on them. Thy lips are warm.
This is the place, there where the torch doth burn.
Yea, noise? Then I'll be brief. Oh, happy dagger! Ah!
The ground is bloody.
Look how my daughter bleeds.
Where be these enemies? Capulet, Montague, see what a scourge is laid upon your hate, that heaven finds means to kill your joys with love. And I, for winking at your discords too, have lost a brace of kinsmen. All are punished. All are punished.
A glooming peace this morning with it brings.
The sun for sorrow will not show his head.
Go hence to have more talk of these sad things,
Some shall be pardoned,
and some punished.
for never was a story of more woe
Than this of Juliet.
And her Romeo.
We'll let that sit for a little bit. That was wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. However, you can clap and send support, and congratulations to these 6 great artists who have given their all tonight. Thank you so very much. We'll acknowledge Anuhea Brown, Marquicia Dominguez, Jerik Fernandez, Elizabeth Keck, Adrian Padilla, and Beth Pollack. Also, special thanks to Jocelyn Fowler and Michelle Burse, who were working behind the scenes in this video stream as we made it up as we went along. And especially thank you to the audiences out there, the people who were listening, streaming, watching. Yes. We really appreciate you taking time out of your evening to find the time to connect with the great stories and the community that we all are. And that's what Seattle Shakespeare is all about, is bringing the community all together. And we're really, really happy you're here tonight. We can spend a little bit of extra time if there's any questions you in the listening and viewing public have for the cast. I will also be monitoring that. I have a few things I will check in with them about. I also want to remind all of you viewing public out there to please support Seattle Shakespeare Company. Go to seattleshakespeare.org to donate to keep this kind of art and education alive. I will also remind you that we have a big fundraiser that's happening this week. Bill's Bash. Go to billsbash.org. We're going to have a capstone event next Sunday that will, again, reinforce what we do and why we do it. I would also encourage you to support other arts and social services organizations if you can. Financially, if you cannot, support them emotionally. We all need it right now. I'm looking at the feed to see if there's anything coming up. I haven't seen anything yet. But I would like to maybe turn it over to the cast. Again, these are phenomenally great actors, as you have just seen, whose a point of doing this was to share with students, particularly high school students and community organizations around the state of Washington, the message of shared communal storytelling and classic theater and Shakespeare. And barring so far any questions, which I have to admit I have bad vision, so I'm going to try and read when I can while engaging with these great artists. Artists, some of you have been on this tour before. In fact, all of you. Is that not correct? All of you?
Only myself, Kiki, Anu, and Beth are returning cast members. Liz and Jerik are new to the tour this year.
They did wouldn't know. So, yeah, so they're used to tour life that way.
Yes, we have another program that's called Would Know that goes to parks in the Puget Sound area, and Jerik did that. For those of you,
Liz did too. Yeah.
Liz did too. That's right. Liz
Yeah.
was in R&J, and Jerik was in 12th Night. Those of you who have done this community school in a van touring, are there highlights, memories, sort of put a pin in it and never forget moments? It can be interaction with students. It can even be like that morning you were loading the van with a cup of Starbucks. Anyone have things in particular? I'm going to ask you to raise your like actual visual hands so that in case Jocelyn and Michelle need to unmute you. Beth.
Cool. I didn't know if we were going to get called on or not, but here we are. Yeah, I would say that the most impactful part of the tour for me, in my experience last year, was getting to interact with the students after they were our audience members. And in particular, last year, we got to have some extended talkbacks at one school that we went to, which was in Mattawa, Washington. And the amazing thing about those extended talkbacks is that we really got to go beyond sort of the kind of questions that we get all the time of like, how do you memorize all your lines? Like, is it hard to like wake up so early? Do y'all really kiss? Like, we got beyond those questions to questions that were more about like students trying to discover how they could really be in charge of their own destinies to a certain degree. Like a lot of the schools that we go to, the populations that we serve, they've never seen live theater. They don't have necessarily like the visual proof that people who look like them and sound like them can be professional actors or even just sort of take the road less traveled. And so getting to have those extended talkbacks with those students who were like really fascinated by this question of like, how do you maybe pursue a career that your family is not excited about? Or how did you know that it was worthwhile to do the thing that you love instead of the thing that maybe would make you more comfortable? And so like those memories really stick with me.
Anu.
Yeah, yes to everything Beth said. The beauty of this tour is that you engage with the community on such a deep level while doing the work that you want to do as a theater artist. Specifically, I will never forget our first show of R&J on the tour, like the excitement of the students and the students actually talking to you while you're on stage, and like that connection is just like so cool. And like seeing like what faces light up when they see, like when brown girls see a brown Juliet and like brown boys see a brown Romeo, and like just actually seeing that on stage while you're performing is like unforgettable. And like you just become so close with your ensemble. I mean, even this year we're so lucky to have Liz and Jerik, and I feel like because of the tour, it's so intimate because we're all living with each other. We're living with each other and we're doing theater, we're setting up, we're breaking down, we're doing sound. So you really get to know your ensemble on such a profound, intimate level. And not only did I think reach communities in Washington, I also like made a community and an ensemble that I really respect and really love while doing this tour.
That's anyone else who
Yeah,
has?
I want to add something
Kiki.
too, because another thing that we did, which we didn't do as often when we were on tour, was teach workshops. So there were a couple times where we got to interact with the students directly and teach them either stage combat. There was a dance one. We did a couple different kinds of workshops. The schools get to choose, but that was a really exciting opportunity to like get on more personal levels with these kids, and really they had an opportunity to like see our process with fights and stuff like that. I remember Beth and I were teaching the stage combat class, and it was just a fun way to show them like, oh, this is how we do this in real time, and this is how we prepare for the show that you just saw us do. So that was also really exciting to like show them the behind the scenes.
We have a question from the internet, and it is, how far into the process, the rehearsal process, were you all when things came crashing down? And that's a question about like what was the date, but also, and this may be a difficult question to answer because it's probably emotionally hard. What happened? What was it like for y'all? Not only this beautiful Romeo and Juliet show, but there was the Hamlet show that you were also working on. I believe you actually got to perform Romeo and Juliet. Is that correct? No, you never got. Did you never get to perform any of these? You got to perform Hamlet.
This is our opening night tonight.
Yeah.
This is opening night for RNJ.
Yeah, this is your first Romeo and Juliet as a cast. You did get to do Hamlet. How far along were you, and what was it like afterwards? We'll take hands so that we can make sure I hear everyone's voices.
It
Jerik.
was
Jerik's. I saw Jerik's hands first. Sorry, Liz.
We could fight later, Liz. Well, we were ready to open Romeo and Juliet. We had we were, when everything went down, we were going to do it the next week after Hamlet, and we had only performed Hamlet one time, which was a great time, but we were ready to get this show on the road. So welcome to our opening night.
Elizabeth.
I think it was the week before we were going to actually go on the road, and we had an entire week's worth. We had a whole month's worth of shows lined up, and it was sort of, they like snowballed, started canceling, and we were like, oh, maybe we'll still just get together and do a run just to keep it fresh. So that was hard, and it was weird, and it was because it was kind of like a gradual realization that, wow, we might not get to do this show. So we were right about to open. Yeah, it was rough. I think it was really hard because we put so much work into Hamlet, and Romeo and Juliet has been going for a long time, and it's kind of flawless. Like, we can't, it's a machine. It's just like a great show. It's a great cut. But we sort of made Hamlet together, and I'm so proud of it. And so it was hard not to tour it more than we did.
I have a question from Lynn. And Lynn would like to hear how each of the performers first came to love theater. How did you first come to love theater, performers? I see Anu responding.
Beth can go. I'll follow Beth. I'll tell Beth.
Oh gosh. Oh no. Okay. I would just say that I have an older sister. She's 4 years older than me. And she was really into theater And I really wanted to be like her as a younger sibling. Like I really looked up to her, I really admired her. So I started doing theater because she was really in love with theater, but I'm also a deeply competitive person. So not only did I want to be in theater like my sister, but I wanted to be better than her. So I really just got like committed to like doing it all the time, like trying to learn as much as possible. And then like the more I learned about it, the more I realized that there was just like a vast like universe that was open for me. And so then it became less about like trying to be in relation to or in competition with my sister, and more about like what it was allowing me to discover about myself and about the world, and about history and about the future. And so my sister is not a theater artist. She is a children's librarian, but she really appreciates the arts, and like that is something where like we were able to connect over it, because it was really the first thing that we had in common as we were growing up.
I'll go next.
Go ahead,
I
Adrian.
kind of got into it by accident. Um, because I remember in like high school, a bunch of my friends were taking a theater class, and they only needed like one more person to join the class. Otherwise, the class was going to get dropped because there weren't enough students in it. And they were like, "Oh, just come join, come join." And I was like, "All right, fine, whatever. I don't have anything better to do, so I'm gonna go join." And I took the class, and I really did not like theater to start. But then eventually, the like teacher came up to me and said, "Hey, I like you. Do you want to audition for like our fall drama?" And I did, and eventually they cast me in Bodas de Sangre by Lorca as like one of the main parts. And I was like, "Why would you do this?" But by the end of that process, I actually really liked theater. So that's how I fell in love. And also, that was a bilingual production that I got to do way back in high school. So that was really cool.
Anu?
Sorry, I was really just so excited because I thought this was such a good question. I was just like geeking out for a little bit. Similarly to Beth, I had a sister who was doing theater, and it looked really cool. And she did theater at like our local high school. I grew up in Las Vegas, so it was in Las Vegas. And I would watch these shows, and I was like so stunned at just like the vulnerability, I guess, and just like everything like really just like set all my neurons on fire, I think. And then I was like way too young to watch Rent, and I watched Rent, and I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And if you think about the musical Rent, it teaches you so much. Okay, it teaches you gentrification, what it means to be an artist. There were brown people in it, and I was like, this is crazy. And like it set my whole body on fire, and I was definitely that annoying girl who was just like singing show tunes in the bathroom. And then here I am now on the Zoom.
Yeah, same with Adrian.
Yeah, go ahead,
I
Joe.
kind of just fell in by accident. I was a senior in high school, and I had some friends that went to the art school across town, and they needed somebody to fill in a spot for their musical review. So I was like, all right, I'll so they didn't want to get canceled. So I was like, okay, I'll do the thing that you guys need me to do. And the review was just a bunch of played out musical theater songs, but I had never heard any musical theater before. So I was like, oh, this is tight. What is this, Rent? Like, this is sick. So I just fell in love with the camaraderie, the team building, the tech process, it's so theater just so unique in terms of like I'm like a live in the moment kind of person. I'm like I don't really like taking pictures and stuff like that. So like theater was like the only way where I'm like, oh, this is so special in this moment, in this time. Like I think I could do this for like the rest of my life.
So I've had a few questions come in through the YouTube channel that are how much time did you spend rehearsing for tonight? And I can dispense with that, 0. Like literally, that's what the Ruff Reads all about. That's Ruff Reads. The actors did spend a lot of time rehearsing this play beforehand, about 2 or 3 months before it was supposed to go out on the road. There is a question. This is a great question, primarily for the folks that have done the tour before. What's the farthest? This comes from Chaz. What's the farthest you've gone on the tour to perform?
I think Pullman. That's further than Spokane, I think. Right? That's like close to the border with Idaho. I'm almost certain. Yeah.
They're both on the border of Idaho. One's north, one's south.
Yeah, I think Pullman. I don't think we stopped by Spokane last year, but we did go to Pullman.
I'm looking for some more questions. I'm wondering, while I look for more questions, if particularly those of you who are playing a ton of different characters, what's the process like for you, that sort of on-off switch, or like what is it that helps you get in one character and out of the other? Is it a hat? Is it a voice? Is it a shoulder switch? Kiki's got something.
Yeah, I want to jump in on that because this is a big question we get a lot when we were on tour because of the quick changes. So like everyone saw how quick these videos would pop in and out and how we would come back. Well, we do that, but we do that in completely different costumes. Like there are a couple quick changes that Liz has from like Paris to Benvolio that people are helping backstage and stuff like that. So yeah, costumes are a big helper with that. But for me personally, it's a lot of physical stuff. So it's a lot of physicality of finding where this character is, how this character moves, what like tempo is this character running on, and then how it's similar or different to my other characters, and like where I can find that similarity as an artist, but then build on them to make them two different characters.
Elizabeth, you play a lot of different characters. What's your process? Elizabeth Keck, are you there? Can you hear us? Am I here?
Yeah, you're here. I think Liz is maybe frozen.
She's frozen.
Elizabeth? Liz? Oh, that's all right. I've got another question that came in from online from Utility Management. What are some of your long-term career goals? Like where do you this is a great question because right now we are in a world of uncertain future, and it's good to think about the future. Anu.
I'm supposed to be going to NYU in August, so that is where I'm supposed to be going. Technically, the cool thing about theater, I think, as far as like the future, is just like you can do so many things in theater. Like you can be an actor, you can also direct, you can also playwright, you can stage manage, you can dramaturg. And so like I think the beauty of it is like the career will never really end because you can always do something different in the room. So it's a fruitful career to have.
Anyone else? Kiki, and then we'll get to Beth.
Yeah, I'll go. So outside of theater, when I'm not doing this, I am a behavioral analyst, which means I create behavior programs for children with either special needs of any kind, neurological diversities, or behavioral issues, which is an umbrella term that gets lumped into a lot of kids. So my career goals is I intend on creating and working in a clinic that uses theater to teach life skills to kids who need help in those situations.
And Beth.
Yeah, well, similarly to like what Anya was saying, like I do a lot of things besides being an actor. Like I'm a teaching artist. I work in arts admin in town. I'm a dramaturg. I write a little bit. But the thing that I really appreciate about theater is that there's no right timeline for what your like career looks like. And so like honestly, I almost like studied math in college. Like I loved geometry. I almost became a mathematician. And I still love those things a lot. Like in this quarantine situation, I've actually started taking online math classes again. And so I don't want to be a mathematician as my job now, but at the same time, like my long-term career goal is to keep like pursuing the things that I really love and keep doing the things that are really making me happy and making me feel like I'm contributing in some way. And so right now my long-term career goal is to continue doing what I'm doing. And if that has to change because the world that we are living in is obviously changing around us, like I'm not going to say I'm excited for what that change might look like or that I'm looking forward to it, but I feel like I want to commit to adapting and changing with it, and like continuing to serve in that way. So I guess that's my long-term career goal right now, is to figure out like where I can serve and fill that need.
Beth, I want to say that's probably the best way to go out on tonight's performance. That was well articulated. I also believe that, like, as an artist, like what we do is we communicate the world back to itself. And all you students out there, learn a lot more, study, learn as much as you can, and you can then refocus it back in the world. If you want to be an artist, if you don't become an artist, that's all right too, but keep a little art in your life. We're so happy to have hopefully brought a little bit of art into your life tonight. I want to thank Anuhea Brown, Marquicia Dominguez, Jerik Fernandez, Elizabeth Keck, Adrian Padilla, Beth Pollack. Working in the background was Michelle Burse and Jocelyn Fowler. You can support Seattle Shakespeare Company by going to seattleshakespeare.org. Next Sunday and all the week leading up to it, we are building up to our Bill's Bash. Another way you can keep helping us keep this light alive in this world, as we have hopefully done tonight. I again want to put a special spotlight on these 6 wonderful artists who have contributed their time and talent to us tonight. Give a big wave, talented team. Thank you so very much. And a big thank you to the audience out there who are our fans and supporters and who follow us, because it's really hard for us right now to not see you applauding and bow as we bow, but we bow to you as we hope you applaud, because you are the company of Seattle Shakespeare Company. Thank you so very much. Good night.